All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are done with the round of 16. We are in the quarterfinal of the Champion League. And there was a lot of drama. A lot of great games. And, there were some surprisers. I don't know. There's not really that much a surpriser, honestly. Most of the games went the way you would expect them to go, really. How we got there was very unpredictable. And I guess one of the games was a surpriser. I think that would be the Liverpool and PSG. But really, if you watched the first game, you would have seen that it made sense. The best team basically came through. So anyway, let's get into it. We're gonna go for Arsenal versus PSV first. I mean, this tie was over in the first leg. Let's be honest. I mean, Arsenal scored 7 goals in a away game at the last 16 of the Champion League. So coming back at home, even if they would have lost 4-0, it wouldn't matter really. And then on the second go around, they still scored 2 goals, right? So it didn't. Anyway. That game was gone. It was gone. So I think that tie was pretty straightforward. Arsenal came through. And then the next tie we'll talk about is Real Madrid and Atletico, and this was the big one. This is the big one. This is one that was very hard to predict, and this one went on until the last penalty kick. In fact, this one is still going on even right now, right? Today, Atletico Madrid just filed with FIFA complaining about the Alvarez kick where he double touched the ball. But really, I mean, this game Madrid should have won easily. I mean, they missed a huge penalty, and there was a handball at the beginning of the game that wasn't called for, which I thought it was obviously a handball. At this point, I don't. This is why I'm not making too much a big deal about the Alvarez kick that's being disallowed, because, I mean, it doesn't even matter. Like, it happens. I mean, these people, even if the VAR exists, there's still a human people behind these decisions. Someone's gonna make a mistake. There's gonna be a ruling that you're not gonna agree with. Either way, there's never gonna be somebody happy. But I didn't like the fact that what is his name, Courtois, was asked about this, and he was like, "We all know UEFA sees it clear. I'm so tired of this victimhood with referees, of always crying about things like this." Bro, is it not rich coming from a Real Madrid player? I mean, who complains about the ref more than them? I think it might have been just a month ago where they wrote a whole complaint about how the refs is against them and whatnot. So it's just kind of funny how he's like, "I'm tired of these victimhood blaming," and his whole club is the only club I know who complains about the ref more than any other club, right? The way even they win, and that's the other thing too. People how much they dislike Madrid. It comes from games like these. In people's eyes, they didn't perform well, right? It's just the way they won too is kind of like sour. It leaves a sour taste to your mouth. The fact that the penalty was the main reason, and how even the last kick of Rudiger, the one he took, Oblak could have saved that. He could have easily saved that. It's the smaller things that they win, and I think they won. I mean, I'm not one of the people who are like, "Oh, they cheated their way," or anything like that. They won. That's how it goes. It's just the way they won. I can see that it leaves a sour taste in people's mouth. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, going back to the first leg. The first leg was pretty much a Madrid game, I think. Because again, I already said this wasn't going to be easy for Real Madrid to come through, in a sense that Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid are pretty much good rivals. Like, the game can go each way. In the Champions League, it's just a different story. Atletico played Madrid, I think, 4 times in the Champions League, and they have lost every time. So I really feel for them. So the first leg, it was 2-1. And there might have been times where Madrid looked like they weren't, fully at Atletico, but you just knew some way, somehow, Madrid was going to win. The first goal by Rodri was epic, right? After that goal was scored, you kind of felt that there was just no way for Atletico to really get back. And then you had Joe Alvarez score that stunning goal. You're thinking like, okay, maybe something can happen, or maybe it could be a tie, and then Atletico could take it back home and make something happen. But Ruben Diaz had one of his best games, and it just didn't happen. I mean, the guy almost broke his ankle to score the second goal. And these are the stats for the first game. Madrid had 13 shots, 7 on target. Atletico had 6 shots, only 2 on target. Madrid had most of the possession. What is it? So the statistics shows that Madrid was just better, okay, in the first leg. But Atletico didn't lose hope, right? They still had a chance because they're only one goal down in aggregate. So it's very much possible to come back and really win it. And when the second leg started, it was quite a shocker because they equalized like immediately. It wasn't even like 1 minute in the game they equalized it, and then right when they equalized it, you kind of felt that, are we gonna have one of those Champion League nights? Are they gonna be the team to take Madrid out? You know how happy they would be. It wouldn't even matter if they won the Champion League. If they just took Madrid out of the champion, they would have been extremely happy, and that would have been satisfactory. But sadly, that didn't happen. Madrid completely just after that goal was scored, the whole tempo of the game changed. You know, Madrid is one of those teams where it's like they don't really react until you get a goal on them. So whenever you score early goals on them, it's like they just wake up and they just try to smother you. So most of this game, it was kind of like that. Madrid would try to smother Atletico Madrid, and then Atletico would just wait for whenever they get the ball and they can just burst out. That's basically how it was. And Atletico can work very well with that as well, in the sense that their compact playing style, they're very good at defending. So it really suits them, the fact that they got a goal ahead. But the problem is that they have to score another goal, right? You couldn't just defend the whole time and try to hold to one goal, right? You need at least 2 goals to win. But in my opinion, I think they were just trying to run the time as much as they can, and they were just going to wait that one play they get will go great for them. That's what they're waiting for. And there were a lot of chances they had. There was a lot of times where Madrid would completely come to Atletico's side and they would lose the ball, and Atletico would get the break. And at least 4 or 5 times they had like a great chance. I mean, even the shots, Atletico, even though they didn't have much of the possession, they had 17 shots. Real Madrid only had 10 shots. Atletico had 8 shots on target. Madrid only had 3 shots on target. Now the possession, like I was saying, Madrid had 62% of the possession. They kind of just compact them and then, trying to get a goal that way. And from Atletico, that works for them. I mean, even the passes, like Madrid almost made double amount of the passes as Atletico made. So this was a game where Atletico was just holding on until extra time. Extra time happens. And like I said, there were a lot of great chances Atletico had that didn't score. So they go to penalty. And sadly, penalty is one of those games where let's see what your keeper can do. You know what I mean? What is he gonna do? And obviously, the Alvarez penalty was disallowed. Was pretty disappointing. And after that, you kind of just knew that the game was really over. But yeah, like I said, you could just never doubt Madrid. Even right now, they're not the favorites to win the Champions League. You just cannot doubt them. Like, this is a team that, even if they play terrible, somehow, some way, the Champions League gods will come and try to save them somehow. Like this game, the penalty. I can completely understand people arguing that Alvarez, the ball didn't touch his other leg, because there's not really a clear cut picture that you can be like, yep, there it is. You can argue both ways. Like I said, in my personal opinion, this is football. Stuff like this happens all the time. It doesn't matter to me, right? So Madrid won. They came through, and they'll be facing Arsenal. The other game was Club Brugge and Aston Villa. This was another tie. And this tie I was completely wrong. I thought Aston Villa was going to get smoked. I didn't think they were going to get smoked, but I didn't think they were going to perform this well. But also didn't consider that Rashford and Asensio combination was going to come this clutch, right? I mean, they have been great. I mean, both of the legs. Honestly, the past 4 games for Aston Villa, these guys' connection has been the main bread and butter, I would say. And I don't know, I think these are 2 players who came from their last club where it felt like everybody kind of gave up on them, and they're really trying to find their new footing. And maybe this is a coach. I mean, we already know this guy is a great coach. So maybe he can really prove their mindset of just like how to get out of this rut they're in. Asensio has a problem of just staying fit. That's has been his main thing. And if he can stay fit and Rashford can just keep progressing and try to prove people that he still is a very talented player. That's kind of the main reason why he came here, to prove that, his best days are not behind him. The first leg, Club Brugge was doing fine. Like, the game was going, you know what I mean? Yes, they were goal down immediately 3 minutes in the game, but I still felt like they could come back. they had most of the possession, but the luck was just not on their side. So as the game was going on, they had 11 shots, only 3 on target, where Aston Villa had 7 shots and 4 of them on target, and they scored 3 of those, right? That's a great percentage rate. I mean, overall, I would say after the first game, when they were down by 3, and even the way these goals were scored, the first goal was solid from Aston Villa, but the second goal was own goal at the end of the game. You get what I'm saying? A time where you're feeling that Club Brugge can actually score a goal and win this game. Even until the second goal happened, you still felt like Club Brugge can win that game. But after that second goal, they looked extremely defeated, and they started getting frustrated, and then a penalty comes along, and that was it. It was over. It was over. And on the second leg, coming back to Aston Villa, it was impossible. It was just kind of like a very hard task to ask for them to come back. And it was, you know what I mean? And they got, again, the football gods didn't want them to come through as well, because maybe like 16 minutes in the game, it's a red card. You know what I mean? As they're having to get back and really try to motivate themselves to come back from the tie with a red card down and 2 goals they have to score, 3 goals really, if they want to win. It was just a task that they just could not take. You get what I'm saying? And after that red card was gone, the game was pretty much over. Even you can even see in the statistic. What is it? Even the possession was on Aston Villa's side. Aston Villa had 14 shots, 10 of them were on target. On the other side, Club Brugge only had 4 shots and only 1 on target. And it was one of those nights where Asensio had a great game, great combination with your boy. You know what I mean? Like I was saying, that combination came through again. And yeah, they won. And I think Aston Villa completely deserved it, and they came through. That was that for that one. And then the other tie was Dortmund versus Lille. And, you know, this was one that you weren't sure where it was going to go, but obviously I heavily favored Dortmund to come through this just because of the experience. Dortmund's been here. They're a team who really do good on the Champions League. They were in the final. I mean, this is a good team. Even they might not be performing well domestically. They just got a new coach in the middle of the season. Nevertheless, Dortmund just has that pedigree of like knowing that they can go pretty far in the Champions League. That's kind of the main reason why I said they were going to come through, just their experience. And the first leg was pretty hard for them. You know what I mean? It was a home game for them. They still didn't feel like that team, you know? They got an early goal, and the goal was beautiful. But after that goal, there just wasn't that much happening for them. Lille took 9 shots, but they only had 1 on target. Dortmund had 7 shots, 1 on target as well. So each team basically took advantage of that 1 shot on target they got. So the first leg was a tie, right? And then now coming back to Lille, you're assuming maybe Lille can wake up and really hammer down. If they have a home advantage, they just need to win this game. And at the beginning of the game, that's what it's going. Lille looked like a really good team, and they were pressuring Dortmund really, but just Dortmund was just too strong, and they were just too experienced. They just knew what to do and what not to do. But I would even say after Davy scored that goal like 5 minutes in the game, you know, this was it. I actually thought there's no way Lille is not going to come through this. But after the first half, the penalty. After that penalty, I kind of just felt that Dortmund's going to come through. Like, Dortmund was going to come through after that penalty. And I would even say, I don't even think that was a penalty. I don't think that was a penalty at all. That was one of the softest penalties I've seen ever, okay? Well, not ever, but it was just one of those soft penalties. So luck just wasn't on their side. The football gods have spoken, and they want Dortmund to come through. That's what it felt like. So the goal was scored. After that goal, Dortmund kind of came back to their groove, and then it just takes that individual talent, and then Maximilian got that, and that was it. The game was over. You know what I mean? They had 17 shots, Dortmund, and had 8 on target. And then Lille only had 11 shots and 4 on target. I mean, Dortmund had most of the possession. Dortmund was just a better team on the second leg. But this all started right after that first penalty. Dortmund was pretty much like, we got this. We can definitely win this. But yeah, so that was it for that tie. Dortmund comes through. The next tie was Feyenoord and Inter Milan. Feyenoord Inter Milan was pretty straightforward as well. On the first leg, Inter scored 2 goals on Feyenoord, and they had pretty much good control of the game. They had most of the possession. They had 59% They had 59% of the possession. They had 13 shots, 7 on target. Vinar had 8 shots, 5 on target. And, this was a game where after the first goal, again, the first goal scored, Inter is a team that is really hard to score on them. I think they might have conceded only like 2 or 3 goals in this tournament. So they're very much a team who, once they score on you, it's going to be very hard to come back to. So on the first leg, they scored 2 goals on them, and then they were waiting for them back home. And whenever they came back home, Fine Art still couldn't really penetrate through them. You get what I'm saying? Again, early goal really changes everything. And that was it, They literally had 14 shots, 4 on target, but Inter had 12 shots. But Inter had 12 shots and 5 on target. And Inter still was controlling the game. So, I mean, it was a pretty straightforward matchup, I would say. Inter came through. The next match is the Bundesliga derby, Bayern versus Leverkusen. So this was a game where most people assumed that Leverkusen was going to come through simply because Bayern was just not having it. And the last time they played domestically, Bayern, they should have lost. That's what people would say. But I'm one of the people who believes that domestic success doesn't equate to Champions League success. Champions League is just a different beast. You really have to have the experience, the pedigree to really dominate in the Champions League. And a team who's been doing that for years is Bayern. Bayern is a Champions League team. And I just thought it was just not going to go the same way that it went for them in domestically. You have Vincent Kompany, their coach, who is in immense pressure, right? At this point, the title race in the domestic league is over. Now he really has to focus on the Champions League. Bayern is a team who cares about the Champions League more than domestic, right? So really the reason why he's here is to win the Champions League. And this has been a season where they have not been performing well. They almost got an out by Celtic. So this was like a game where they need to tell people that like, no, we're here. And that's exactly what they did the first game. Kane is just on fire. This dude's not stopping scoring goals. So the first leg was basically Bayern had 17 shots, 6 on target, and they scored 3 goals. On the other side, Leverkusen only had 3 shots and 1 on target. And really, for the Leverkusen, even the penalty, what was happening was just, they were like not a lucky, they were just not a lucky calls, I would say. Even one of the penalties were just like, oh my God. Even the goal that Musiala scored, it was just like a goal that could have been prevented. So they were 3 down from the first round. And going back home, you're assuming this leg is pretty much over. That's what I thought. Like after the first leg, there was no way they were going to come back. This is one of the games where Alonso kind of overthought about his lineup. He didn't use the players he should have used. But then again, we don't know. We don't know why he made the choices he made. But they just were not good choices. Okay, so on the second leg, the lineup looked a lot better. It made more sense. But it's too late. They didn't even score a goal. They had 17 shots, but only 3 on target. Bayern had 12 shots, 5 on target. Even Leverkusen had all that possession. They didn't do anything with it. They didn't score any goals. And Kane, as Kane he is, that goal was great. The first goal he scored, after that, there was no point in watching that, tie. It was over. And Leverkusen know it too. So Bayern comes through. And the other one is Benfica and Barcelona. For me, this was the one I was looking forward to because obviously I want Barcelona to win. And we have played Benfica already in this tournament. And it was one of the best games in the Champions League. And it was such a close call. This game wasn't decided until the last kick of the game, right? And we won that game. So I would like to think that Benfica really had something to prove. You get what I'm saying? They need to let people know that like they're not just a team you can walk all over, right? So we went to their home as well. And 22 minutes of the game, Kubasi gets a red card. He's out. Okay, now we're like down a man. And we're at Benfica, a team who's really looking for revenge. You get what I'm saying? But this was a game to show that Barcelona is not just going to flop. Last season, we were 1 man down, and PSG just ripped us apart, okay? Even though we were up on aggregate. So this was a game where we had to start off right. Our defense after Kubasi left, the midfield, everybody was on point. Everybody was kind of like just holding on. They were doing everything they can to make sure Benfica didn't score a goal. And honestly, on the other side, Benfica was doing everything they can to not score a goal too. They had a bunch of chances, bunch of close call goals. They couldn't score. They had 26 shots, 8 of them were on target, and they had most of the possession. This is against Barcelona. Barcelona only had 10 shots, and 5 of them were on target. And then, what is it? And we only had one clear chance. I mean, the Rafinha's goal? The Rafinha goal was crazy. I mean, I didn't even know how that was a goal. I didn't think it was a goal. It's going to be a goal at all. But I think it also deflected a little bit. That helped a lot. But the goal was scored at the 61 minute. You're assuming that Benfica had time. And honestly, for me, I would have been satisfied with a tie in this game. You get what I'm saying? Because Benfica was just pressuring. But some way, somehow, we stayed strong and we came with 1-0. Back to Camp Nou. So the second round was pretty much straightforward. We had our 11 players. We played them with a man down. Now we have a fully team. There was just no way they were going to beat us. And this was like a Camp Nou as well. So the game all immediately started off with us just basically choking them, I would say. You know what I mean? We look extremely comfortable, extremely confident. This was a game that we just knew we couldn't lose. We had 20 shots, but only 6 of them were on target. Benfica had 8 shots, only 2 on target. But the possession, we had most of the possession because we got the first goal. I mean, the first goal was so beautiful. The first goal really set up the tone of the game as well. The pass from Lemar, I mean, you can say that he was trying to score a goal, not really make that pass. I also think he was trying to score a goal. I don't think he was trying to make that pass. But it was just so perfect. And then Rafinha was clutch again, scores that goal, and everything kind of basically looked like, all right, we're done and dusted. We're out of here. You know, on to the quarterfinal. And then Otamendi immediately scores a goal. Like, they get a header, they get a corner kick, and they score. Okay, maybe this is gonna be one of those nights. You know, we might have a lot of goals or whatever. No, none of that happened. As the game went on, Barcelona didn't lose their cool. They were perfectly in control. We finally have Pedri, De Jong in the middle, really understand each other. And Dani Olmo is a player who is very clutch. You just need somebody. He's like a lucky charm, I would say. He's kind of like Julio Alvarez. He just comes through when you really need him to come through. So just all three of them in the middle is just like, you feel safe. You feel like we can go against any midfielder from any tournament, okay? We have the best midfielders in the world right now, and they are in their prime, I would say. Especially, what is his name? De Jong came from injury, and it took him a little while to really get it kick-started, but I think he's feeling great. Same with Pedri, all those injuries, finally he's in his prime. You get what I'm saying? And you got Dani Olmo, he's same thing as well, injury guy. And he's staying fit. So far, so good. And they're minimizing his time of play, which is good because we also have some good backup. Like, you know, we got Gavi there as well. But anyway, as the game went on, these guys look very comfortable. Lemar is doing his thing. You know what I mean? He's having the best game of his life. And this is one of the best games of the season that he had. And then you have Rafinha, who's, I mean, this is the first Brazilian scored this much goals and this much assists in his campaign for the Champions League. I mean, that's a crazy feat. There's been amazing Brazilian players who played in this tournament, and none of them ever had the season run that he's having right now. To be real with you, I have never seen a player turn this much around. Last season, we were literally talking about Nico Williams coming here replacing him. This season, he might win the Ballon d'Or. That's just, to me, that's just crazy. That's just a crazy turnaround. You know, again, these players at this level, it just takes one little thing to really make it complete. He was a player who was getting chances, who was creating chances, great passer. He just couldn't score. Now he can't stop scoring. Like, every chance, every shot he takes, it just looks like you just know for a fact that he's going to score. So there's a lot of debate about, like, is he going to be the one to win? Is it going to be Mo Salah? I think it's going to be him. I mean, like, if they win the Champions League, I really don't see how Rafinha is not going to win the Ballon d'Or. He's having a crazy season in the Champions League right now. And fully deserved. You know what I mean? I was one of the people who was like, this guy's not it. Bring Nico in here. But I'm so happy that he stayed true with himself and really fought through the dark times, I would say. Because look at this. He's the captain. and he's one of the best players in the team right now. He's actually the best player in the team right now. You get what I'm saying? When it comes to just, scoring goals and coming at a clutch moment when you need a player, he comes through. You couldn't say that about him last season. Blade, again, another player, completely improved. If he just stays fit, this guy he's on a trajectory of becoming one of the best left backs ever. And he has so much time. He's so young. You get what I'm saying? So the run was just crazy. And even the second goal for Rafinha. Did you see just his movement, everything about it is just like, the improvement is just crazy to me. That's all. So this game was pretty much cut clear after the second goal. You just knew there was no way we were going to lose the game. And then just Rafinha's third goal really just put the icing on the cake, right? And again, Lamine Yamal, this was one of his best games. That second goal was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And the work rate also really helps that we have wingers who are willing to come back and help their left and right back. You get what I'm saying? And this was even the goal that he scored, it was because he busted his butt to go get that ball before it went out. You get what I'm saying? He could have just let that ball roll out, but he didn't. He ran and got the ball, and he got one of the best goals in the Champions League this season. I mean, we're doing great, man. I'm pretty so stoked. I'm so stoked on our team this year. Anyway, the next game is the PSG and Liverpool, and this was a big game. Okay, this is two teams who are having a wonderful season. Okay, both are number one in their domestic leagues. Okay, and they're not just number one; they're gonna win their domestic league. Like at this point, you can just call it right now. And you got Liverpool who only lost one game. You got PSG who had to fight through to come even into this last 16. So me, I heavily favor Liverpool simply because they just had a great run. They're having a great run domestically, and they're having a great run in the Champions League. They finished number one in the table. So if anything, they were gonna win. I just didn't think they were gonna lose this game at all. And then you got PSG, a team that as they were progressing in the Champions League, they were just getting better. Week on in, week on out. I mean, this team is just like, slowly they did these transfers. Everybody's kind of clicking perfectly together. And they're looking great, okay? And Dembele is another player who's having a season of his life. After Mbappe left PSG, you were assuming that, oh man, who's going to really replace them? But it seems like they're not even talking about Kylian Mbappe anymore. It's all about Dembele, okay? Dembele perfectly suits PSG and their style of play. And he looks like he's very happy. I haven't seen him this fit for this long at all. So I think even his injuries are probably behind him. That's what it seems like. So they're looking great. And so coming in this game, you're still assuming Liverpool is a team that they just don't let goals in. You know what I mean? They got this. That's what you were thinking. It might be a hard fight, but they will win. But it turned out to be anything but that. You know what I mean? The whole game, PSG was just like fully controlled. Okay, they had 27 shots, 10 of those were on target. Liverpool only had 2 shots and 1 on target. Possession, PSG had 71% of possession. You know how crazy that is? That's all of it. It was just the passes. The pass number is crazy. PSG had 693 passes. Liverpool had 295 passes. Brother, this is dominant. I mean, this is everything but dominant. But you know what the scoreline was? 1-0. Elliott somehow, some way, the only one chance they had on target, that's the one that worked out. And they won that game. If you just look at the statistic, you would be like, there's no way that was the outcome. But that was the outcome. Liverpool won. So now going back home, Luis Enrique came out and basically said, whoever wins this tie is going to the final of the Champions League. Now, if you're a PSG player, that should give you a great boost. All you have to do is beat this team and you're going to the final of the Champions League. That's confidence right there. I mean, Alisson had one of the best games of his life, okay? To the point that people are basically like, this guy is the best goalkeeper in the world. Let's just calm down, okay? People tend to like see one good performance of a player and they'll just say whatever, okay? Same thing with PSG. After this tie, people are saying like, this is the best midfielder has ever been put together. This is the best team. Brother, Madrid is in this. So let's just calm down, okay? Let's just chill out. But anyway, great performance. Coming back home on the second leg, You're assuming that PSG, all they have to do is just do the same thing they've done the first leg, and they will be fine. And that's exactly what they did. They picked up. I mean, I would say this game is just a PSG. I would say this game is just a Liverpool kind of up to their performance. But other than that, PSG was still fully the same or even better. Okay? I mean, they had 21 shots, again, 8 on target. Liverpool had 19 shots, 3 on target. So even possession, PSG still was killing it. And people love to say, you know, you don't walk alone, Anfers, this you come here, we don't lose here. But they lose here. They lose here in the Champions League all the time. You get what I'm saying? And as everybody knows, I'm an advocate, hate watcher of Liverpool, and this was so satisfying because as the game was going on, I just knew they were gonna lose. I was hoping it was gonna be like really, really bad, but it wasn't. It wasn't. They scored the first goal in the 12th minute, PSG, and as the game went on, they're getting chances, but they just couldn't score the goals. They just couldn't score. Also, this is another thing. People are saying this was the best game in the tournament we've seen. I don't think so. I think this was a average game. These two teams could have scored a lot more goals, and none of them scored. Okay, so I don't know how great a game you would think it is, but nevertheless, they go to the final, and then they finally go to the penalty kick. On the penalty kick, this is it. Alisson, great goalkeeper, the best goalkeeper in the world. This was a moment to really show it, right? And every penalty that PSG took was clean. Alisson had no chance stopping any of them. And then on the other side, you had... I feel so bad for Nunez, honestly. I feel really bad for my boy because right when he stepped up to take that penalty kick, everybody had a feeling that he was going to miss. Just how bad was he going to miss? That was the question. I personally thought he was going to skyrocket it. Anyway, they lost. Liverpool is out. Love to see it, by the way. Love to see it. Liverpool is out. PSG comes through. Yeah. So now the conversation about Mo Salah and the Ballon d'Or is gone. He's not winning the Ballon d'Or, guys. I'm sorry. He has not won the Champions League. He is not winning that Ballon d'Or. It's pretty that simple, in my opinion. Anyway, now we are in the quarterfinal of the Champions League, right? This is it. Now it's getting hot and heavy, right? We have Bayern playing Inter Milan. Who's gonna come out of that? I don't know. Again, this is another one that's hard, but I feel like Bayern are in a run right now to where I cannot not see them coming through. I think Inter Milan is definitely gonna cause some problems, but is it gonna be enough to stop Bayern Munich? It could be. Honestly, it could be. I mean, Inter Milan again is a great defending team. They have conceded the least goals. I mean, I'm simply just picking Bayern again because it seems like they're just more hungry and they have a lot more to prove than Inter Milan. That's why I'm picking Bayern. And then on the other one, we're going to have Arsenal versus Real Madrid. Madrid's coming out. I'm not even going to go into it. I'm not going to analyze it one way or the other. But I just think you just don't go against Madrid. That's kind of the mentality I'm using. It's a two-league game. They might play bad on the first game. They're not going to play bad on both of the legs. Okay? So just for that reason, I think Real Madrid is going to come through. And I mean, I would be very happy if Arsenal wins. Let me just say that. But I just don't think Arsenal has it in them. I just don't think so. Is it going to be motivation how much they destroy PSV? I would hope so. I would hope they bring that kind of energy into Real Madrid game. But I don't know. I just cannot see Arsenal beating Real Madrid two legs. Maybe one. I can see one. Two. They just tied Manchester United. Have they beat Manchester United this season? Yeah. So anyway, on the other tie would be Barcelona versus Dortmund. Again, this tie already happened in the season. Are we going to come through? We are going to come through. We're going in. Okay? We're coming through on this one. No questions asked. And then on the other one would be PSG and Aston Villa. Obviously, PSG is going to come through. I cannot see Aston Villa really having any kind of match against PSG. But then again, I'm still thinking from Aston Villa before, the combination with Asensio and Rashford. So with that kind of Aston Villa, anything is possible. And I love Tillemans. I mean, he's one of the best midfielders in my opinion. So anything is really possible, but the chance is just extremely low for them to beat a team like PSG who just took out the favorites, right? So I'm gonna say PSG simply because they've been performing wonderfully. But that's all I got today, and I'll see you next time.